This is a video about a 2003 Mercury Grand Marquis. The cruise control switches have not been operating properly. They stick sometimes, and so I am going to do a quick attempt at cleaning them and repairing them. Right here is a little groove, and there's a little pin on either side of that. Going to pop those covers off. Same with this side. Little pin here, pop those covers off, and we're going to clean the micro switches underneath. I don't know that I can do this one-handed, but we'll see if I can, okay? So, basically, just putting a little screwdriver in by the little pin, and trying to pop that pin out without hurting without breaking the plastic. There, it comes right there. Okay. See the little micro switches right there? And one there. Those are approximately 6 by 6 by 5 micro switches. Easy to unsolder if you take this thing apart. I'm going to clean it with a little CRC QD electronic cleaner. This is about $10 from Home Depot. You can buy it at any of the mechanic shops too. Okay, so the top one is the button that does them on. Go spray a little cleaner on it. Don't worry about getting cleaner on the other things. It evaporates pretty quickly. Then you're just going to take your finger and move that momentary switch around a little bit and shake it, try to clean the carbon and the dirt out of it, and shake it around. The off switch is probably totally good. Now, it is entirely possible to put a multimeter on pins, I think it's 5 and 6 on the cruise control module under the hood. Come back and you can test these buttons and see if they work. All of them are tested by using ohms, except for the on button, which is done by testing for voltage. So I'm just going to put a little extra in there, move it around a lot, moving it, cleaning it. Same way with the bottom. If you have to, you can unsolder the one switch from the bottom, the off switch, which practically nobody uses. And then swap it out for the upper switch. But that takes a little bit. And getting into these switches, getting into the circuit and all that requires you to disconnect the airbag. The airbag disconnect has a little spot on the side. I don't know if you can see it. You pop that off. There's an 8mm bolt in there, 8mm bolt in there, and you can take the airbag off. But before you do that, taking the airbag off, you have to disconnect the battery, turn your headlights on, turn your air conditioner on, and let it sit for about 20 minutes, just to make sure you got all the electric out of the system, because only a few millivolts will pop that airbag in your face. So before you pop the airbag off, be sure you know what you're doing. Lots of videos on how to take the airbags out. But nobody tells you, just clean these things. You can also replace the switches, but that takes a little bit. But it's easy to do, and it's very cheap. But you can buy these parts online very inexpensively, too. Okay. So, now, as I said to you before, there's little pins that stick out the side. You can see that. They got a little taper on them, which makes installing them pretty easy when you use two hands. We'll see if I can get it to install with one hand, because I'm trying to video this. Get it back in the hole. I'm doing this in the winter too. There we go. Pops right back in, right? Now, if I had the meter on it, I could tell whether or not I actually cleared the switches or not. So, this one is the same thing. There's a little pin right here in the middle. You can see it in there if you look very closely. And there's another pin up here. I'm not even going to take the resume off because most times, whoop, that one went all over. Most times the resume is not the problem. Okay, so now, same thing. Just put some spray on it. Put some spray on it. By the way, I have the key on off on this. Key's actually in my pocket. So I'm playing with cleaning the switch. This one and the on switch are the two that I suspect needed the most attention. And I'll do the other one. That just because it's easy to get to. There's one more switch up here under the resume, but my resume hasn't been acting up in any way. It's up high, so the dirt and debris typically falls down below. Carbon from arcing on these micro switches can do it. And that cover flew off behind me, so I'm going to have to shut the video off and go find the cover and put the switch back on. Now, back to the same video. Again, the little pins. You can see the little taper on them. See the little taper? Little taper. Anyway, so just put that in to the hole. Get it about in the hole. You should be able to feel it. Click in. And then it just snaps in place. Here are the momentary switches. Okay. And now for the test ride.